Hello YouTube, it's Alan again, and today I would like to talk about the symptoms of ADHD because I fear that a lot of doctors don't really know what to expect when they're diagnosing someone with ADHD here. And coming from someone who has severe ADHD, I can explain what the symptoms really are so you're not just prescribing a college kid who just wants ADHD medication to help them study, which to me I find that very disrespectful. If you're someone in college and you want medication to help you study and you're not ADHD, well then you should tell the truth to that to the doctor and say, "Hey, look, I just want something that'll help me study." Now, when when I was a kid, my main symptom I shown was hyperactivity. Now, ADHD comes in a lot of forms, I believe. You got the hyperactivity, the anxiety. The anxiety can be real bad, and right now I can tell you because my ADHD just came back, and I'm 23 years old, and I would like to say that my hyperactivity is off the chart. So, it may not seem like it, but it's true. I'm an adult. I need to hide that and from people because they're gonna think he's crazy, he's weird. You go into a job interview and they'll see you, they're not gonna want to hire you, which is kind of disrespectful, but it's understanding, I guess. So I would like to say that first off, ADHD is called attention hyperactivity deficit attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD. And what I'd like to explain here is when you have hyperactivity, for me, I feel it in my chest. I feel I'm hyper in the chest. Not up here, not like my brain is racing. Yeah, sure, it may be, but you're not going to feel your brain pulsating like your chest area is right here, like near your heart. And for that, I don't know why that is. Now, what I'd like to say is another thing about ADHD for me is that I cannot focus. I cannot focus as much as I should be, and I can say clearly that the focus is when you're looking off, you're fidgeting around with things like this joint of Delta 8, you're fidgeting around, you don't know what you're doing, and and that that kind of combines the hyperactivity with the attention deficit disorder right there. When you're hyper, of course you're not going to want to focus, but you don't have to be hyper. You can be attention deficit, and clearly, when you're attention deficit, you're not focused into what you should be focused into. Now, I want to say loud and clear that I have the hyperactivity, I have attention deficit, and I have a severe problem with remembering things. Okay? So, one of the things, if you're a doctor, you want to look out for is if when they're lying, is ask them where do they feel the hyperactivity at? Do you feel it on your chest? Do you feel it on your mind tracing? Where do you feel this at? Because I can tell you right now, I can usually spot someone who's not ADHD from someone who is, even adult or not. There's been a few things been wanting to study about ADHD, but I've I've been studying enough into crystal meth and doxycycline, and I've been studying these two medications because COVID. You would think, why is he studying these two things? Well, I'll tell you why. I studied doxycycline because that is a clean, beautiful alternative from heroin, which is what they're giving out to people in the ICU hospitals or ICU COVID ICUs, and and doxycycline. Well, the heroin makes you want to go to sleep. They're trying to make you go to sleep and not be stressed. When you're sleeping, you're not stressed either way. You're sleeping unless you have a nightmare, and you're sleeping, regularly. Now, heroin and COVID put your mind in a state of delirium, severe delirium. And I would say that COVID can cause delirium. It's one of the top places for COVID to attack your brain is the delirium part of your brain the part of your brain that causes delirium. I don't know what it's called, and I haven't been studying it after I've helped some people out. Now, what I can say is that heroin and opioids can also, well, not as much opioids, but heroin can cause delirium real bad. So when you mix two and two together, kind of like batteries, they don't attach good. So now when people get out of these COVID ICUs, they're dealing with severe delirium, which can kill them within a year. So one of the things I'd like to point out with meth is that first I'll do meth because everyone thinks, mm, sorry, meth is the bad guy in this situation. Well, that's not really true. I've smoked meth. Do I look like I'm a bad person or do I look like I'm an addict? No. You would say no. If you're a good person, you would say no. And you can see my skin is fine. I'm not like that one guy who's, oh wow, look at the cheeks, rub against the cheeks. Yeah, that's not what meth is like at all, buddy. And if you're posting videos like that, then you need to get a grip on your life and stop making yourself look like a joke because that's what you are. And this is for you, the LGBTQ center of Las Vegas or Los Angeles. You're a joke. And I'm not calling LGBTQ people a joke because I'm with a transgender person. So you can't really say nothing against me. And it would be really dumb of you to do that because I respect all these people. But if you're posting videos uh, falsifying information, medical information out there, then you're a joke. Now let's continue with this and get off that topic. I would like to first say that because I've done the studies myself on myself that meth crystal when you smoke it, well, it helps ADHD a lot. But and that's if you use it short term. You're supposed to use it short term. If you use it long term, then the effects of it can kind of alter in a way where it's not only making you um, how do I say this a person who is not going to do well in life, and perform poorly, it's making you into someone who's bound to make mistakes in life, prescribed or not. Now, first thing is that I've never been prescribed Desoxin. Would I like to try it? And with a prescription? Sure. There's nothing wrong with trying things out. In fact, I think it's good that we try medication out, except for these COVID vaccines, because medication can be a mysterious thing in life, and it can be a good thing or it can be a bad thing. But what I believe God did to us on this beautiful planet is that He, for everything, the more deadlier something is, the easier and better of a cure you can find for what that deadly thing, disease, or virus has caused you. Like Lyme disease, you got your doxycycline, doxycycline, and or you can get the IV of it, which will help you a lot more. I would like to say that it helps you sleep when you have Lyme disease, and I think what I'm getting on here is that it kind of deswells the brain because Lyme disease swells your brain up if you get infected with it in the spine and the brain and whatever. It deswells your brain, so you're not dealing with headaches, those painful, severe headaches. Because I've had Lyme disease too, and I said no, I'm leaving the hospital. I don't want the treatment, so they gave me doxycycline, a steroid, and amoxicillin. So, first thing is that I would like to say is COVID and Lyme disease are very similar. Now, you'll notice that one comes from a tick and the other may come from the bat or wherever it came from. I'm not quite sure of that yet. Nobody really is. If it really came from the bat, then they both come from blood sucking parasites. So, I believe that COVID 19 can give a young adult ADHD back, like me. I was fine. I was fine. I took my Adderall as a kid. I kind of, I got off the Adderall and I moved on in life, feeling normal for the bit. And I kind of wanted to be focused more because the hyperactivity was gone. The focus was, not perfect, but it was alright. And being bored is another thing of ADHD I see people having. It's like a lot of these people are bored, so they want to try drugs, they want to do stuff, and I can figure that, well, if Adderall can help you 250%, this is what I've heard from doctors on YouTube say Adderall helps you 250% with addiction. Now, I would like to say here that addiction is a serious game that you don't want to play into. I've tried a lot of drugs, and even before I was 18. And I would like to say, someone with ADHD, drugs affect that person a lot differently for some reason than they would a normal person. I don't know how. I don't know if that's the truth, but I feel that way sometimes. I don't know what to name this video, to be honest, but I just want to talk about ADHD, COVID, and all the things that can affect your ADHD. Because it's important to us as humans to figure out why we're affected like this, how we are different, how we're not the same as normal people. I can say my ADHD was severe as a kid also, and by this I mean I was so hyper. I was the hyperest kid in class. You couldn't make me sit down for more than 2 minutes. But now, being an adult, you kind of have to grow out of that. And if you don't, then I don't know, you're just a different person. First thing I can really relate to with ADHD is how I use it as a way. I use ADHD against it, something like that. And being able to use my hyper focus now, I've learned how to use that. Hyper focus is real. I will note that, and I will say that it's important to find out how to use your hyper focus in life when you are given medication to treat ADHD, like Adderall, because it's in the long run. If you learn how to use your hyper focus and that energy, then I will clearly state that you will do great things in life. You will go far, and you won't be bound for mistakes like a lot of other people are, even normal people. If you can use your hyperfocus, you may not be normal, but you may be better than normal. I've learned how to use my hyperfocus. And hyperfocus, what that is when you're so focused into stuff, you don't have to take notes, haters. You don't have to take notes. You don't have to focus because your focus is already there. You're listening and you're doing great things, and you don't have to take these notes because hyperfocus means you're so focused into something hyperly that basically you just remember every single note that you're supposed to take down in your brain. You don't have to write your notes down on a little pen and pad because it's all right in here and it's all going to be stored in there. Now, I would like to tell you guys how to unlock your hyperfocus. It's a pretty simple way, actually, and that would be when you're given your medication like Adderall and you're feeling those effects in your brain. You're so focused into your work, and here's how you unlock it. Don't be bored. Find a study you like to be passionate in. Do something you really love and enjoy. You want to do it every single day. For me, I like cybersecurity. I like to learn about medications. I like to learn how to make money. Things that, you know, just some people find interesting and some things that they don't. It's kind of like, you know, your kid is playing these video games and they're in love with the video games. They won't get off of it. They aren't paying attention to you when you say, "Hey, come over here." Now, that's kind of like hyperfocus. The brain is so actively in love with what they're doing that they're so focused into that, and they remember every single part of what they do. I would like to say that I don't know what site it was, Wikipedia or drugs.com, but one of these drugs state that crystal meth has no health benefits. That's a lie. That's a huge lie. Because if it didn't, then why prescribe it? Why did it help me with my ADHD? Why does it make me feel like I'm normal just as much as Adderall does? Well, I believe that crystal is a mixture between Ritalin and Adderall put together. And this is because it was made to be that way. It's a stimulant. But there's a health benefit I'd like to talk about with it that helps with a symptom of a lot of people have of COVID mouth. I call it COVID mouth. It makes your taste bad and your smell. Now, given a prescription of this drug, I believe when you smoke it for 3 days, maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks, but hey, would you rather have that bad taste and smell for months, or would you rather just spend 2 weeks doing smoking and getting rid of this bad taste? You have to smoke it right, too. So, it took me a week. I smoked it for a week, and what had happened was my bad COVID taste smell had went away. I never really got the smell, so I just got the bad taste. It was real bad taste. Usually I'd smoke a pack of cigarettes a day, and this was so bad that I only smoked 4 cigarettes a day. So the bad taste went away. I believe your smell would go away too, but bad taste went away, and I had my taste buds back. So the other thing I can say is that it, I can say it deswells the brain, while COVID will swell the taste and the smell part of your brain up. So that's how you get the bad taste, and that's how you get rid of it. You deswell that part of the brain. This may not work for everyone. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but it works for me. I mean, we're in a day and age where people with COVID have to tell their symptoms to the doctor, and they might even have to figure out how to fix the symptoms themselves. What I would like to say is I was given bupropion for my ADHD, and it did nothing. Did not affect me, did not help, and it made me severely depressed. I mean, you can be depressed for one day, tell the doctor that, and the next day you're not depressed. That means you're not depressed, to be honest. You were only depressed for that day. Depression is when every day you're sad, you have bad thoughts, want to end your life, suicidal, and yeah, the list goes on. Now, I had my lung collapse on me. This is because when COVID gave me my ADHD back, I had these scary thoughts about people I loved dying. COVID can do that to you. COVID can put you in a state of delirium and dementia. I was never this bad before COVID. I wasn't ADHD, and clearly want help from a doctor who's going to give me my Adderall back and not take me as a joke and not give me a medication that'll benefit them and get them more money for giving me. You people are sick in the head for doing that type of stuff. My main thing with bupropion, the battle with that, is that when it's on your shelf for the next morning, sleep near it or you're near it, it gives you and the person you love near you, sleeping with you, tinnitus. That's how you know a drug is bad. When being near the bottle gives you and your loved ones tinnitus. Does that sound normal to you guys? If it does, then you need help. So I clearly think there's a big difference where bupropion and Adderall, have to clash out in battle. I think that we need to stop giving out this bupropion and give out more Adderall. I would like to say that a lot of doctors misdiagnose ADHD, and they really don't know what the hell they're doing because they haven't walked a mile. And if you're ADHD, they haven't walked a mile in my shoes and your shoes, and they deserve to suffer for that. They deserve to have a penalty against them for misdiagnosing, like this psychologist did with me. You shouldn't have to suffer because bupropion has an $11.7 million lawsuit against it. Does that sound good to you guys? Yeah, and it's also a black box. What I can say is we need to stop giving out this crap that kills people and give out the Adderall and give it to people who are really ADHD like me. Not give it to these teenagers and these corrupt people who want to basically make their kids smarter. Because in the long run, it's going to damage their body because they're not ADHD. I don't fully believe in that Crystal had gave me the lung collapse. I think what that was from was COVID-19 when I had that. And COVID's a weird game because it can affect you anywhere and everywhere. So I think what it did to me was it affected me in a spot where ADHD kind of was affected. Wherever the ADHD comes from in the body and the brain, I think that's what COVID attacked. And it can really attack these spots in your body that are weak. Like, if you've had, if your uh, legs are weak, brain is weak, and if you have dementia, and that's going to make that clearly worse, even in the long run after it's gone. I think that, well, I know for a fact the difference between someone who's ADD, ADHD, and I think that we got two different types of people here. We got the Adderallers, and then we got the Ritalинers. Now, the Adderallers are the people who are me, the hyperactive, the non-focused, the not normal people, and the Ritalin people are the people who are sleepy, always tired, and they're they're shy, they're not sociable, they want to be normal, and they can't focus. So what I can say about this is, can someone be a Ritaliner and an Adderall combined? I'm just thinking outside the box here, trying to figure out stuff that medical staff can use for future purposes and study this and think more clearly about this. I would like more people to watch this video and leave comments and help. If you're watching this, please leave a comment, and you don't have to like it, you don't have to dislike it, you don't have to subscribe, but please leave a comment and at least subscribe too. I mean, that would be nice and thumbs the video up. But I see that what I noticed about smoking crystal is that also helps 200. That helps like 500% addiction. because I smoke 4 cigarettes a day when I use, and usually, well, I'm out, have no money, or I don't know, some other reason I don't want to do it. I noticed that when I'm not high, I noticed that I smoke a whole pack of cigarettes every day. Would you rather have someone smoke 4 cigarettes a day or a whole pack? That's a gigantic difference. But, and you're not even addicted to the crystal because of the fact that you'll be so focused into something, you won't want to use it unless you've been up on it for days. What I notice is once 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 the high is gone, you won't feel that feeling of addiction. At least that's for me. I know there's other people that are different, and you have to accept people. But that's a tricky game to play with. But what I find weird is they're giving these people heroin in the COVID ICUs, and they tried to give me fentanyl in the hospital to help numb the pain from my collapsed lung when they were going to put the tube inside there. There it is. That's the little hole they made to put the tube in there. That's no. I don't want that crap. I I I I did some crystal meth before I came in here, and that's what I'm gonna use because I know that fentanyl causes massive clotting, and that's really dangerous when you're, you know, dealing with a lung collapse. And the pain, I just dealt with it. I went to my happy place. I went to a place in my brain where I started meditating, and I meditated to where the pain was just not there anymore. So I also unlocked my inner meditation when I went to this hospital to deal with my lung flap. I tried to get Desoxin from them. They said, no, I don't think we have that here, which is really pathetic and sad. They should have everything. If they have heroin, they should have crystal. So once I got out, I was charged a bill for my ADHD, outstanding bill of 1,600 for my ADHD, which I told them about it, and I told them, look, I need you to help me with this, and they gave me sertraline, yeah, sertraline, and I was like, PTSD medication. Why would you give me this? So I called them, and they got the bill canceled right away. And that's where, when I said at the beginning of the video about anxiety comes in. When you're ADHD and you have COVID, don't be scared. Don't be anxious. Go home, lay in your bed, stay in your bed, and try your best to survive. Because when you're anxious without ADHD medication, I'll tell you this, you'll probably end up with a lung collapse if you don't relax. You need to relax because that's where delirium comes in. Delirium makes you scared, it makes you nervous, and it makes you think thoughts that are not there. Oh, by the way, I'd never bumped. I'm not that type of person. I see nothing on my arm because I'm not addicted. I'm just doing this so that I can feel normal like everyone else. I think that when you mix Ritalin and Adderall together, you start suffering anxiety more, and it affects your lungs. Your mind's racing from the Ritalin, and your Adderall, it's paced at a steady, normal pace that it should be at. So when you mix them two, it goes like whoop, whoop, and then it kind of unlocks here, and then it's like your brain is this right here, so it kicks back with the Adderall, and then it bumps forward in an unnormal spot right here, about 1/4 of the way, and this is the normal spot, let's say. So when it kicks back and it bumps forward, it's going to bump over here a little bit more off screen, and it's going to be a big situation where you're going to suffer anxiety. I think that personally, these doctors and psychologists are giving out ibuprofen because they're getting paid to give it out because they get paid more, and that's sad. You think your doctor's holding back on you, giving you something that's making you worse, then don't take it. In fact, one thing I noticed about stimulants are brain shocks or zaps. Some people call them zaps because when you go to sleep or you try to sleep, your brain will zap. I think that's part of your brain, your brain's chemicals. Like this one guy said, your brain's chemicals are rebalancing themselves back to normal. So when you're high, you usually want to be awake. You're always awake or energized. Well, when you're high, what personally happens is your brain will want to be awake, and then when your high is gone, it wants to go to sleep. And when you want to go to sleep, your brain zaps you. And as soon as you fall and daze off, you get a zap. So when you get this zap, what happens? It's your brain sending shocks through your head that are basically saying, "Hey, look, hold up here. I'm chemically making myself normal again so that you can be okay." And I think Adderall was a huge success of my childhood. I didn't like it because it made me feel like a zombie. I personally believe that I'm a little bit of an Adderall and a Ritaliner, and that I'm always shy, anxious, and I never really talk much. I would like to be normal and maybe see if I can get a little bit of both. Sorry about that, guys. I'm really sorry. My thing is that when I did crystal, I was the most successful person in my entire life. I held two jobs. One job, I was making 21.50 an hour, 21.50, and then the other one was 11.50. That's amazing. That's an accomplishment. And these jobs, I held them both down. Very difficult jobs. I don't think anyone else could really do them as easy as I could. I held them down, and I said, "Look, I'm banging these jobs out, and look, my energy is just so good. I'm sleeping every single night. I'm eating, and I love to eat. I tear some food up. This is when I was doing my crystal, and I believe that if you have a job or two and you work hard and you get good money for it, maybe you deserve to have some disoxin to keep you going. Because when you're tired, I mean, you're bound to make mistakes. Right now, we're in a time where people really need this medication, and that would be for people who have little to no energy, like me. It helps me with my ADHD, and it helps me with hyperactivity. That, oh well, that's supposed to give you energy. That's supposed to make you crazy and run. No, not at all. It helps me with my hyperactivity, helps me stay calm and focused. Arguing. It helps me with it helps me with so many things that benefit me in life. And there's times where I do use it long term, and then there's times where I use it short term to help me. But there's several factors into this where doctors are still in the stone age. They don't know what they're doing. They need someone like me to help them out here and make studies and do right from wrong and answer questions we need answered. Because they're thinking of the questions that we, and they're thinking of questions and answers and things that we don't need right now. Future. There's so many factors into the medical game that just are wrong. And I feel bad for people in America. It's ADHD and Pride Month. So my main goal right now is Tuesday. I'm gonna go to the doctors and I'm gonna get my Adderall back. They offer me appropriate. I'll probably end up recording the conversation to show you guys how it went. Say I got 11 views on my last video. I'd like to reach at least 250 on this one and get. I got one subscriber. I'd like to get like 5 or 10 by this video. This video is gonna go for an hour, I believe, and it's 43 minutes right now. There's a lot to talk about ADHD. I'm gonna write down questions next time, and I'm gonna see if this video goes good. I'm gonna see if you guys will answer these questions, and you guys will tell me the truth. Because I believe there's the side of YouTube that's good. They're not liars, and they know right from wrong. And usually, when you post a video like this, it attracts those specific kind of people. And I pray I do get my medication back because my lungs, my lung right here, it's still not breathing right because of the fact that it was affected and my ADHD came back. So now I'm dealing with bad anxiety. I can't remember a single thing where I put stuff, especially. Like I can put this vape pen somewhere around the back in a nice safe spot, and I'll forget spot. 10 minutes, 5 minutes later where I put it. We shouldn't have to live like this, people. We shouldn't have to do this. I believe there's a different way that Adderall affects the brain than bupropion does. Bupropion, it does it in a real bad, messed up way. Because once it takes over the brain, that brain belongs to all the medications that evil person's prescribing you. And if you say it helps you, then sure, keep taking it. I can't stop you. I'm not going to tell you guys to stop taking what you're taking. If you believe it helping you, then do that. Take it. I personally, it's all a matter of opinion and how things help certain people. And I believe that Proprium made me more severely depressed, and or not even more, it made me depressed. I laid in bed that day when a lady got off work, and she looked at me, what's wrong? What's wrong with you? I don't know. I just know that I felt like killing myself. Nobody should feel that way. Nobody should feel that way ever. So, the psychologist, or the witch, I call her a witch, she gave me a call one day, the second time, and this witch, she's driving while talking to me. That shows that you're a real good person. You know that? I hope you're watching this, and you do watch this, and I hope you get a taste of your own medication. Because evil people like you, careless, you need to suffer the most. And when someone's driving while talking to you about your mental health condition or disorder, it shows that they care, and that's sarcasm. It shows that they really care about you. They're more focused about their driving than they are about you. That's wrong. I put a name out there, but no point, because what am I gonna win out of someone else's game? I ain't gonna waste 10 cents on that person's name. Now I will say this: meth can cause delirium too, but it causes it and it goes away. There's certain types of delirium, I believe. You see colors, and then a different delirium would be where you see shadow people, and they're caused by different diseases or medications or viruses. I personally think that we need to help our community out and give more answers. And please comment down below so that way I can make another video with a list of questions I should ask. I'll think of these questions that I should ask you guys, and hopefully we can get a good answer out of what everyone thinks. That's what we need, is to all come together as a community and do the right thing and not the wrong thing. That way we can decide on what we need, what's best for us, and how to help us, and we can all make friends here. Well, it's about 50-minute mark. I got 10 more minutes to speak with you guys. So I would like to say that Tuesday I'm going to go see a doctor, primary care physician, finally, because I've been trying to do this for over a month, and it just hasn't been working out that good. Because, I've, I've had a long battle with a lot of disease and COVID, but I think it's a good thing because it helps me learn a lot. So did Crystal, too. That helps me learn at quadruple the rate that any person would normally be able to learn that. I could study all night and day, and it'll take minutes to learn something that someone found very hard to learn. And I believe that it may help me differently than a normal person because of my ADHD. But we all need to come together as a community here. We need to do the right thing. I won't say what's good and what's bad. Actually, I will, but you guys can have your own opinions and your own thoughts. Just don't leave any bad comments down below. That's not what we're here for, or I'm here for. What I'm planning to do in the future a little bit is make some gaming videos, just have some fun, and get this channel going here. Because I believe once it's going, we can we can all have a good community, and we'll have something to focus on into while we do what we do. That way, we're not making decisions on bad. We're not making bad decisions. These these will go away once I get my medication. And in future videos, if you're watching, have faith in me, believe in me, believe in that I'm doing the right thing and getting the right medication. Believe in that everything I do is for a good cause and it's for a reason. So Tuesday, the 8th, I have this video uploaded today. Tuesday the 8th is when I'm getting my medication. I hope it's not going to be no bad medication. Because this bupropion crap, I believe it's here to kill us slowly. Less slowly than crystal. That kills you, but this will kill you a lot faster. It's also a sexual medication. Makes you think sexual thoughts. I didn't like that. I don't like that. I didn't get a pick in what I wanted. The witch just said, "Here's what I'm gonna give you," and I'm not gonna give you Adderall or Ritalin because it's addictive. I'm not a addict. And she also said it has heart problems. It gives someone heart problems. Well, on the package I was reading that bupropion causes heart problems. And I believe it causes way more heart problems than Adderall and Ritalin and crystal combined. Believe me. Because if it gives you tinnitus while you're trying to sleep, that's not something you want. You don't want that ringing in your ears. I'd rather have my ADHD instead of being miserable with tinnitus. I'll talk to you guys later. Y'all have a good one and be safe.